I loved this criminally underrated cartoon growing up. In fact, sinning it feels kinda sinful. Having said that, I've got a job to do. Why is the scroll opening up by itself? I'm aware it's a magical scroll, and yes, this show does occasionally break the fourth wall, but from this point onwards, the scroll will neither open or close by itself for the rest of the show. Not even when detecting active Shengonwu. There's no reason the scroll should be opening or closing by itself, is my point.
Thousands of years ago.
Thousands of years ago? I want you guys to remember this line. I have a feeling we'll be coming back to this statement. In fact, there's a few details like this that won't hold up in the later seasons of the show, but I'll keep things fair and reserve those sins for when they occur.
Dashi spread his Shengong Wu around the earth. For generations, they have secretly maintained the balance of good and evil.
But how have they been maintaining world balance? Once Dashi and Dojo hid them, they remained unmoved and untouched, and most notably, they've become inactive. These objects are essentially useless until Wuya returns, and then they reactivate. So are they capable of bringing world balance? Absolutely. But as for the statement,
for generations, they have secretly maintained the balance of good and evil.
Bullshit. And I'm already removing a sin. The music and weather really set the tone for the show's theme, and also reflects Omi's character.
Dojo, don't you have a scroll you're supposed to be guarding?
The ancient scroll of the Shengang Wu?
Thanks for clarifying, Dojo. I'm sure Master Feng needed you to ask his own question for him.
Okay, I'm going.
Why does a lazy dragon not wanting to move choose the more exhaustive method of travel?
Omi, I would like you to meet Premondo.
Sup?
Kimiko.
He said that? Hey.
If Kimiko is the type of teen who can't keep away from their phones and other devices, why would she agree to come live at an old monk training temple? She doesn't even seem remotely interested.
Master, where are the new students?
Right in front of you, Omi.
So because Omi has lived a sheltered life at the temple, he couldn't possibly figure out why these newcomers are arriving on the same day the new students are expected.
I must be going, young ones. I can see there is much teaching to be done here.
So not only does Master Feng leave these new students without instructions, none of them even try to ask what they're supposed to do. They've travelled from across the world, haven't they?
The key is balance. If you are a beginner, you may want to start with 3 fingers.
Just curious, when will we need this?
Clay would be excellent at, this type of video.
Okay, Keiko, I'll email it to you. Is there a net connection around here? No? Oh, no worries. I'll go Wi-Fi.
Kimiko hardly gives anybody a chance to answer a question, and then somehow connects to the temple Wi-Fi without even needing a password.
I defy you to catch me! Witness the speed of a cheetah. I am dazzling and confounding you. And now I strike. Hey!
No matter where Omi goes, his volume doesn't change. Different distances, same loudness. Lazy transition is lazy.
I want to rule the whole world! All of it! Not some of it. Not just Iceland or Fiji. I want to rule the whole world!
The phrasing of Jack's rant implies he's already conquered some countries.
Not just Iceland or Fiji.
Jack's angry that he doesn't rule over more countries when he hasn't even started his campaign. Jack's anger isn't justified.
Oh, a puzzle box. A mask?
Are those hinges? Isn't this box supposed to be at least 1,000 years old? Okay, let's see. I can't believe I'm actually investigating this. It should be interesting. Probably invented in the last couple hundred years. Whoa, what? Seriously? Let me double check this. Okay, you know what? I'm removing a sin, because today this show has taught me something. When Jack throws the box, it's open, but now it's closed again. Oh, I guess Wuya didn't need help escaping after all. Okay, I'm joking. I know it's really because Jack solved the puzzle. However, in this shot, Wuya appears as Vapor, despite the fact in the previous shot she was a solid mask. Why are Jack's goggles the same as Wuya's eyes? Like, what do the swirls mean? It's a big deal for the show's creators because they highlight this in the intro, so I'm adding a sin because of this weird intentional coincidence without any explanation.
So once we get all the Shen Gong Wu, then what?
The world will be thrown into 10,000 years of darkness.
Throughout the show we hear plenty of statements like this, but I have just a couple of questions. First, why 10,000 years? Why not just 50 years? Or 20,000? Why not eternal darkness? Does evil have an expiration date? And here's my other question. Why would Master Feng even know? Has this happened before? Has Wuya ruled for over 10,000 years in the past? Because I doubt that's the case.
The ancient scroll of the Shen Gong Wu.
See, this is further proof that earlier Dojo didn't need to name drop this specific scroll to Master Feng.
Our grand quest begins. Follow me to victory! I have no idea where I'm going.
I don't know why I never found this funny as a kid, but I do now.
You can't possibly expect me to remember which this way.
Right, like we're gonna take direction from a gecko.
I'm adding a couple sins because this pilot episode paints a false portrait of these characters. It's already implied Kimiko is a rude teenager, and now it depicts Raimundo as an idiot who can't appreciate coming across a creature capable of coherent communication.
See? I'm making Pochi collect the disc.
Whether Kimiko presses the buttons or stops, the game doesn't seem to react.
Look, Kimiko. My new little friend cooperates with me as I push the buttons.
Well, at least it reacts to your gameplay, Omi. That's right, Kimiko. Stand and walk across the dragon mid-flight.
Okay, you're gonna need to get solid and help me out here.
Hello, friend.
Wuya's not even hiding here yet. Omi and the gang seem surprised a few seconds later.
Mince them.
Are we really supposed to believe Jack is a psychopath? That he's a killer, happy to slaughter 3 young teenagers out in public in such a manner? Okay, but if he isn't consistently evil throughout this kid show, that'll be a sin. Not a single blade so much as grazed Clay, despite the fact that the robot reached its target.
You've got the flip coin. Go!
That is so not what Wuya meant. This jackpot isn't doing its job. Jack and Omi are fairly high off the ground, but moments later, they're both near the ground, all in a bid to let Clay collide with Omi. Speaking of which, I was going to sin Clay for not simply throwing his weight at the robot again, but then I re-watched the clip and realised that Clay did more than simply stand his ground. The mental preparation, the physical stances, I'm removing a sin. However, I am sinning the fact that once again, Clay isn't cut or grazed by the on-target spot.
Do you not understand? The more Shen Gong Wu Wuya possesses, the stronger she is.
If they didn't understand Omi, it's because neither you nor Master Feng explained this. Even as a kid, I noticed this lazy editing. This is a recycled clip from before. It's just like in Batman and Robin when Bane breaks out of his chains and strikes a pose. But then, after literally 7 minutes of screen time, they use the exact same clip from a while back, making Bane apparently so stupid he hasn't moved anywhere or even lowered his arms. So 2 sins. One for lazy editing, which makes this scene feel slow and slightly awkward. The other for making ambitious Jack Spicer quit after 1 tackle.
The Eye of Dashi.
The way I figure it, it shoots lightning something fierce.
Clay figures out what the Eye of Dashi does before the image of lightning even shows.
Let's go. Xiaolin Showdown!
Roll credits. We don't do that here.
I get why they horizontally flipped this clip, but they didn't bother correcting Jack's makeup placement. See, that took me less than 3 minutes to fix. If I can do it, they easily could have.
Oh, I did not expect this.
That's odd, considering you seem to know everything else relevant about Wu and Showdowns. I will admit that as a kid, I didn't realise they flipped Jack's image multiple times in this episode. But adult me is now noticing for the first time because, once again, they didn't correct Jack's eye makeup placement.
I forgot the two-ton tunic is very heavy. Whoa!
So moments ago, Omi can barely move, but now he's jumping like he has the Mantis flip coin. There are many moments where we see Wuya with a red mouth, But here's my question. If her teeth are shown to be purple, as well as her tongue and inside of her mouth, where's the red coming from?
The journey of 1,000 miles.
Hey! That's the name of this episode, which of course you shouldn't know since the titles never appear for some reason. I mean, seriously, why did they bother giving all the episodes a cool, creative or punny title if the audience doesn't get to see them?
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with but a single step.
Where do you get this stuff?
I have a desk calendar. Someday, your new friends may become dragons as well. Kimiko, the dragon of fire.
Why is she the Dragon of Fire? Is it because 2 years from now her voice actress will voice another firebender in a more popular show?
Okay, all kidding aside.
I am going to sin the fact we're only now seeing Kimiko's consistent character design. The fact they showcased blonde Kimiko for 90% of this pilot episode conditions new fans to this false identity. It would have made way more sense for Kimiko to first arrive at the temple looking more like this, then having her change her look by the time they arrive in San Francisco. That way, her quirky character trait could have been quickly established instead of shoehorned at the very end of the episode.
Someday, your new friends may become dragons as well. I didn't want to tell you until you were ready.
We're supposed to laugh that Omi's world's been turned upside down, that he's been raised believing he's the chosen one. But then he has his destiny taken away from him by his mentor, and learns that he isn't the one and only Dragon Warrior. Sound familiar?
You'll turn him into a big cat? Oh, you are so cutting edge!
Sorry guys, there's one more sin I need to attach. This isn't exclusive to this particular episode, but it does apply to all of Season 1.
As much as I'm grateful this show is now available digitally in HD and with a wider aspect ratio, they lazily swapped out the original Season 1 intro for the Season 2 version. So instead of us seeing how the show has evolved as it's progressed, instead they went the George Lucas route, changing what was and pretending it always has been. Case in point, Chase and Panda Bubba shouldn't even be in this season.